healthcare. Coming off its best week since June of 2022, now BTIG's Jonathan Krinsky looks at that turn and says the breakout feels different. Maybe it feels different this time. The large cap healthcare ETF, it's the XLV, best 5-day gain. What do we think, Joe? You have a pretty good amount of exposure here. We had the Pfizer deal announced, and that led to a lot of good feeling in this space for the first time in a long time. Those, reasons to be more bullish overall now?
Led me to buy Merck. I have a new position in Merck. We discussed that last week.
Yes, we did.
Happy to have that. I also have McKesson. I think at some point the
Boston Scientific, Intuitive Surgical, Cencora, Stryker, on and on and on.
I think at some point the market turns towards quality. When you look at factors, this year has been about momentum. I think it's going to turn to quality. I think that's going to take the market directly towards healthcare. So I am looking to build exposure. I did that by buying Merck. I am now going to tell you that I am going to go back to the well once again. I'm going to try it once again and buy the XBI on the close today. I will buy the XBI.
Wow.
I will have a very wide stop on this, which means you have to size it accordingly. I'm probably going to risk here all the way down to about 92. The stock is 103, so I'm not going to buy a lot of this because I want to make sure I leave myself the room for the opportunity. I think over the next 6 to 9 months, you're in the midst of a multi-year breakout here in the XBI. That's a trade I'm going to be putting on. In addition to that, on Thursday, Josh spoke about Viva Systems. That is a healthcare name. Keep that in mind. It's technology-based, but it's a healthcare name. We own it in the ETF. I'm looking at joining Josh in that position and buying it personally as well.
I personally think healthcare is broken. To me, healthcare resembles the
moment. There goes everything.
No. I think drugs are okay.
That's the whole point.
I think drugs are okay. I think biotech be okay. But the rest, the old establishment, we're at a similar point in time with healthcare that we were in technology when the internet came along, and we sort of disintermediated the old line companies like the Oracles back then, like the Dell, like the IBMs, and it's taken a while for them to recover. So healthcare is a broken system. And when a system's broken, the ones that will survive and thrive will be companies like Viva that are the technology companies that will create models. Look, you're going to value-based care, which is a complete risk model, shifting the risk from the government and from others to the practices. So we heard from United Health, the leader in the system, that that it's broken through their earnings.
Well, why do you still own that stock?
Because it's got so, I can't tell you why I still own it right now.
No, I didn't think so.
It's up 40% since I bought it.
Good answer.
So when the momentum dies, that's when I'll get out of it. I may get out some before, but I think it's now kind of expensive. But the point is that they're going to cut back on services. And they have been already. Some insurance plans don't offer pain. They don't offer epidurals anymore. They've cut them out. So you're seeing a major resetting of the table that will continue. So you want to be in the technology companies.
Two responses to that. First, can we acknowledge there probably could be a bifurcation when we say healthcare investing? There could be an opportunity.
I just said that.
Let me finish. If you go to, you did with Viva, but if you look at the XBI, right? XBI is a great example of if we're in an environment where yields press lower, we're in a search for yield environment, we're seeking opportunity in places that have been unappealing in the last several years.
Joe, I just said that.
Rebuilding
I just
positions.
said pharma and biotech should do okay. Pharma will be tougher because the bigger companies have to find new drugs.
So the second response to that would be: do you not believe that what happened with Pfizer and the administration, because it's the reason I bought Merck, was a clearing event for big pharma itself, where others could walk into the Oval Office and make the deal with the president?
They can, but we don't know what the profitability is going to be ultimately. We just don't know. And healthcare was so ignored and so beaten up, it needed a catalyst. Where that catalyst is accurate in terms of improving the prospects, nobody knows, including Pfizer.
I think that's a really interesting point, is we don't know where the profitability is going to be for large pharmaceutical companies. I agree with you, Joe. We had a clearing event. I think that's why pharma looks to be investable again. But if you look at the growth, for example, in just new drug discovery, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of dollars, and the payoff trade-off is not always there. So, for example, we at Partners Group in private markets prefer to invest in contract research organizations, for example, that supply all the services to all the pharmaceutical companies as well as biotech who make that discovery possible, but we don't take the binary drug risk itself, the molecule risk. And the same goes for biotech, Joe. I agree, it could be a great trade if you have the yields move lower, but as you know, you can have an up 50% day or a down 70% day, depending on how that trial goes. So really approach that one with care. The last thing I'll say on healthcare, medtech is a field that's really interesting for us. And one of the companies that we recently invested in does 3D printing for orthopedic implants. And everyone is custom, so why not use 3D and AI to do that?
All right.